hello. Oh, let me put on my headset here. Hello, hello, everyone. Everyone, welcome. This is Nomad Brad coming to you from my box truck. We're hanging out today. We're doing a live stream. Excuse me. I want to thank everybody for joining. I see a lot of you folks have already been in the chat having a little conversation. Love to see it. I see Adventures with Super Dave. He was in here really early. Super Dave came in like an hour early, hanging out in the chat, showing support. I love it. King Gamer joined. Appreciate you, brother. Glad to see you're in the chat today. Outdoors Dreadhead, another regular. John C, another regular. I really appreciate all you guys that are coming in and participating and talking and asking questions. It really helps me understand where you guys are at and what you're interested in. And it's no fun talking to yourself, you know, so I like having you guys around and providing some feedback. So I appreciate it. I was kind of reading through the chat and I saw that CMH Bullet says, hello, box truck enthusiasts. And, you know, I've kind of realized a lot of you guys, I think, are not only just interested in van life or being nomads, but I think a lot of you guys are specifically interested in box trucks, which I don't blame you. I love my box truck. I think it's a fantastic platform. And so I'm happy you guys are seeing the light. You're looking at just getting right into a box truck. I think it's the best thing, especially if you're transitioning from a home or an apartment, you know, some kind of sticks and bricks. It just makes so much more sense to dive into a box truck. It's going to be a lot more of a familiar experience. I'm going to go ahead and pop up my other camera view. Let's see if we can get this thing to load. Let's see. Let's try this. I was going to show you guys. Let's do camera. Does that work? Show you guys what we're looking at. There it is. There's the camera view. Let's see. John C. This is how I look when I do conference calls at work, not only on a truck van in San Diego. Life is Bananas says, what's up? Robert says, hello, Brad and everyone. Love and light from Michigan. Hello, Robert. Thanks for joining us. I like your avatar. It looks like a classic Mustang. I like that. Looking pretty good. Pretty good. Move this window over here. Yeah, so today, guys, I am coming to you from Yuma, Arizona. I left San Diego 2 days ago. I came back to my dad's. I have a little bit of business to wrap up here, and I have some other family in town, my aunt and cousin Lonnie. Some of you know cousin Lonnie from my Schoolie Palooza videos. So they came over to my dad's house and visited, and so it was good to see them. I haven't seen my Aunt Stephanie in many, many years, so it was nice to connect. Robert says, love box trucks but don't like dualies. I hear you, Robert. If you get the 3500s, you can get single axles. But I think the dualies are important if you're going any bigger. The single axle trucks, you're usually limited you know, to like a narrower box and a shorter frame. The trucks really need the double axle. They need the dually to support the weight and to be stable. So I wasn't a fan of dualies either until I got this truck. And I drove it for a while, and it's not that bad. It actually handles pretty well off-road. And another cool thing about dualies is that you basically are always driving around with two spare tires. So I've had two different instances where I've blown out one of my rear duals. And when you do that, you can just pull off the blown tire and throw it in the back of your truck, and you can drive on down the road on only 5 wheels. I've done it many times. So, you know, in that regard, it's nice to have the dually as just always having spare tires. But I hear you. They're not as fun as regular trucks. Island Guy says he likes the box trucks. They're easy to build out, no funny angles. I agree. I built out a cargo van and a shuttle bus and a short schoolie, and the angles on the top always mess you up. And then not only is it the upper angles, but also just on the inside, you'll have like fender wells and all kinds of other stuff. So the box trucks are just so much simpler. Robert thinking about gas mileage. Yeah, gas mileage sucks. It's, but it's all just part of the budget. And something to think about is this truck I have now, it's a dually, it's huge. I mean, it's a big wind sail. There's nothing efficient about it. There's a lot of wind resistance when you're driving down the road. I average about 9.5 miles per gallon in my V10. I know the V10 engine is very inefficient. For example, I was looking at the new box trucks, Ford Econolines from 2020 on. They replaced the 6.8 liter V10 with a 7.3 liter naturally aspirated V8 engine. So they increased the capacity, it's more liters, but it's a V8 configuration. And they added an extra speed in the transmission, so it's a 6-speed auto instead of 5. And I was looking at reports on some forums of people that are actually using these, for deliveries around town, and they're reporting like 12 to 15 miles per gallon on these new V8 engines. So that's something to think about if you guys have the budget for a newer vehicle, the Ford 2020 Plus. You can get a lot better fuel economy. You're going to pay for it. They're like 30 grand, but that's still cheaper than a new ProMaster, so it's something to consider. The ProMasters will get 15, maybe 19 miles per gallon, but it's a lot less space you're working with. Ohio Wood Burner, what's up, buddy? I recognize you from before. Looked at some nice U-Hauls for sale. The one in best shape has a bad engine. Seems spending money for a new V10 install makes sense, but worried there are other problems. Yeah, Ohio Wood Burner, I hear you. You could do an engine swap. It just depends, what you want to do. If you know a good mechanic that can swap the engine. The nice thing about these rigs, they're pretty simple. There's not a lot of other components. Like when you get into all the turbocharged engines and all the emission systems and stuff, they get pretty crazy. But I think on these type of engines, or these type of chassis, engine swaps are pretty common. And so if you find a good mechanic, that's the key, is a competent mechanic, then that might be the way to go. I'm curious, Ohio Wood Burner, if you priced V10 engines at all, and what kind of price you're looking at for a swap. I've looked at them online, just buying a rebuilt engine. It seems like, they're between 4 and 5 grand, but I wonder, how much is labor? Is labor another 5 grand, or is it more? That's all something to consider. CMH Bullet, heard of something called super singles? Yes, CMH Bullet, I've seen super singles. It's something to consider. The difference is you're getting up into like a military grade wheel and tire system. So usually on those super singles, you're up into like 40-inch tires. From what I've seen, at least, they're pretty big, pretty gnarly, pretty heavy. And so that's something to consider. Is now if you go with a super single, those rims and those tires are going to be pretty unique, and that's something you're most likely not going to be able to just pick up at any random tire store. So if you're out traveling all over the country and you have super singles, you're probably going to want to carry a spare. And if you notice, most of the adventure trucks that have super singles, they carry full-size spares, and that's the reason why. And those super singles, the wheel and tires, those can weigh over 100 pounds each. I've seen people try to replace those, and it's quite difficult to replace it yourself. So unfortunately, everything is like pros and cons and weighing the situation. So super singles are definitely an option, but just consider, your tire and wheel size is going to be kind of unique, and you're probably going to need a full-size spare. And if you have a blowout, you're going to need a high lift jack to jack it up, and then you might need assistance to even move the tire around. So something to think about. King Gamer, how's it going? It's going good. It's going good. I'm here to share some experience. Life is Bananas says, I appreciate your experience and knowledge. And today you guys are going to get a bunch of experience and knowledge. What I'm actually going to talk about is my stealth camping experience in San Diego. I stayed there for 2 weeks. It was nothing but stealth camping. I haven't been to San Diego for a couple years, so everything was basically new. I was finding new places and new stuff. So I got some information to share. We're going to look at some maps. I'm going to show you guys exactly how it went down and share some video with you. So it's going to be another informative session. I think the live stream I did last week was super informative, talking about how to find rigs. And so now we're going to talk about kind of, once you got your rig and you're hitting the road, what you might expect when you're doing some stealth camping. Adventures with Super Dave, he's got a 460 big block. Robert's thinking about an Isuzu NPR. Yeah, those are easy to work on. The whole cab flips up and you got access to the entire engine. So Isuzu NPRs, pretty easy to work on. Engines are easy to swap. I've heard they're bouncy. I've never ridden in one, but because the cab is directly over the front axle and that's where all your suspension travel is, I've just heard that they're really bouncy. But again, it's all pros and cons, so it definitely might be something to consider. John C., would you take your box truck to Mexico? Is it difficult to get in? No. Would I take it? Yes. Is it difficult to get in? No. Mexico operates on a lot of tourist money. They just want you in the country driving around buying gas and tacos. So they don't care. They're not going to keep you out. It's easy to get in. My only hesitation is with my van right now. I have some reliability issues, and so I would not want to break down in Mexico. That's my only concern. So I'm not really confident in this rig to go to Mexico, but if I had a different rig or once I get this transmission brake straightened out, then I would definitely go to Mexico. I'm not scared of Mexico. I don't think it's really that dangerous. I would go in a group, definitely if it's your first time. I wouldn't just drive down by yourself, but from everything I've seen, it seems pretty safe. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get into it. I just wanted to welcome really quick our newest channel member, Curtis T. Signed up on a membership last week, and so I really appreciate Curtis's support. I got a email from Curtis. He's building out an Econoline cargo van. It looks pretty badass. It's a little bit of like an off-road kind of adventure rig. It looks really nice. It kind of reminds me of my first cargo van. I had a blue Ford Econoline. Looks kind of similar to his. So I want to say thank you to Curtis, and he sent me his address. He's in California, so I'm going to be sending a sticker out to Curtis in the mail. Anyone that becomes a channel member, the minimum donation I think is $1.99, and I will send you a free sticker, and you will get some other premium content. You also, as a channel member, you get access to all my videos early. So I always upload my videos before they actually get released on Sunday. So as a channel member, you get early access to those videos. And so yeah, let's jump right into it. Tonight we're going to talk about stealth camping, finding parking and water and resources while you're stealth camping. This is all for in a city. When you're in a city, you're stealth camping. When you're out of the city, you're not really stealth camping. You're just camping. So it's going to pertain to city travel. We're going to talk about finding those kind of resources, taking showers, about some grocery shopping tips, and I'm going to share some videos from San Diego with you guys. I had an absolute awesome time. I had an absolute awesome time in San Diego. It was so beautiful. The weather was phenomenal. The last 2 days I was there, it rained, and I actually had a solar install, and so I did a solar install in the rain and got absolutely soaked, but I still had a good time and got the job complete and made a little money, so I'm not mad about it. But otherwise, the weather was beautiful, and it was so nice to be able to wake up and just stroll down to the beach barefoot, get my toes in the sand, and it was super relaxing. And one thing I noticed about San Diego was just overall the people were in a really good mood and really happy. And so it was just a good energy to be there. And I'm looking forward to going back. I'm thinking in April. I have a little bit of work to wrap up in Arizona, but I'm thinking I'm going to go back in April, and I'm not sure how long I'm going to spend there, but I'm going to stay for a while back in San Diego again. I love it. So let's go ahead and dive in. I'm going to do a screen share here really quick, and we'll get rolling on this. King Gamer, are you back home in Arizona? Yes, I am. I'm back at my dad's place. I'll be here for a couple weeks. I'll be here for a week, and then I got to fly to Texas to help my mom move. My mom's moving to Apache Junction, so I have to fly from Yuma to basically Austin, Texas, help my mom pack up her stuff, and then bring her back to Arizona. So I'll have a week here at my dad's, and then a week on the road, traveling from Texas back to Arizona. And then once I've helped her unpack her U-Haul, then I will be hitting the road again, and then it'll be a summer of travel and adventure. Robert asked if I run into nomad YouTubers. Yes, Robert, I do. As a matter of fact, while I was in San Diego, I had a gentleman parked next to me in his transit, and I got to talking to him, and he's a YouTuber and a TikToker, and he actually makes most his money from TikTok, which was pretty interesting to me. I've dabbled a little bit in TikTok, but I don't post much to it. So to learn that he was making a living off of TikTok, I thought that was pretty cool. And so he's got a YouTube channel. His name is Dan Gaming Van, I think. Let me pull up his channel. He's a pretty cool guy. Let me pull this up really quick. Super rad dude. And we were actually camping at the same parking lot in San Diego. Let's see, Dan Gamer Van. And this is right up Nomad King's alley, King Nomad's alley, because this guy's a gamer. And so he actually has why can I not find him? He actually has like a car racing simulator. He has a car racing simulator that he does inside his transit, and then he posts videos of that on Facebook and TikTok. Let me see, where's my channels? Let me look at my subscriptions really quick. I just want to find this guy's channel. He's super cool, and happy to give him a shout out. Let's see. See if we can find it here. Here we go. Dan's Van Life. Dan's Van Life. I'll share this in the chat. If you guys want to check out Dan, he's a cool dude. He took a little break from YouTube, but he's back posting again now. His adventures are pretty cool. He spends a lot of time like in the mountains and in the snow, and he does a really good job. He makes way better videos than me. Mine are pretty boring, but he does a really good job. Let me jump into the chat really quick, and then we're going to go to Google Maps and explore San Diego. Robert, fairly new to the channel. Yeah, Robert, absolutely, no problem, man. I'm happy to have new people in, and absolutely, yes, I do run into nomad YouTubers. There's a lot of them. Most people put like stickers or signs on their van, or somehow they have like an indication that they have a social media. Yeah, King Gamer gave him a follow. Nice. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, guys, let's hop into this this Google Maps. So I want to show you guys what I did. So the first thing that I want to share is just how I find my parking spots when I'm doing stealth camping. And let me switch over to satellite view. I don't know why it defaults to that one. Here we go, satellite view. So we're going to zoom in on San Diego, and that's where I was. And I was going specifically down to Ocean Beach, which is, let me pull this up a little bit. Okay, Ocean Beach is this green or this white little spot right here. That's where I was going to stay at. So what I did is I'm coming into San Diego on Highway 8, coming in from Yuma. We'll zoom out and scroll over. And here's Yuma right here. So Highway 8 goes all the way clear over to the San Diego, to the ocean. So I took Highway 8 all the way in through the mountains. And once I got about an hour out from San Diego, I wanted to go ahead and start looking for stealth camping spots. And so what I like to do when I'm in a new place and I don't really know exactly, like I'm not familiar with it, or I don't know exactly where I'm going, I always like to spend my first night or two just in an easy spot. I like to cruise in, just have it be easy, find a good place, and kind of lock down for the night. So what I did as I come into Highway 8 into San Diego, the easiest place to stealth camp is in commercial parts of town. The reason for that is that you're not in residential. When you're in a residential neighborhood, there's a lot more eyes on you. A lot of the neighbors and the people that live there, they're familiar with kind of who lives in the area, what cars are normal. And because it's their house and they're kind of, you know, just in general concerned for their overall security and safety, they're keeping an eye out for unknown vehicles and vehicles with foreign license plates. And so you're more likely to get disturbed if you're staying in a residential neighborhood. And so I try to just avoid them, especially now since my box truck is wrapped like a commercial vehicle. It just doesn't make sense to be in a neighborhood. So what I do when I'm coming into a town is I open up Google Maps and I go to the satellite view. It's important you have the satellite view because this is how you can easily gather all the data. So once you know kind of a general area of where you want to stay. like maybe a general area of where your either where you're at or where you're going to be, what I'll do is I'll look on the satellite view and I'll look for the big white buildings. And so the big white buildings, like for example, right here, you can see these big white rooftops, how large they are in comparison with over here on the right, these smaller rooftops. So we know just from this view, these smaller rooftops, that's all residential. And the larger white rooftops, this is all commercial and industrial. So this is where I want to sleep at. This is where it's going to be easier to find a spot and just kind of blend in. So now that I know I want to be in commercial, now I zoom in a little bit further. And now the next thing you want to look for is you don't want to be on the main highway. You don't want to be on a road with more than one lane in each direction. So for example, this one right here, Mission Gorge Road, you can see there's like 2 lanes, a median, and then 2 more lanes. So you know this is going to be a pretty high speed limit. There's going to be a fair amount of traffic. And even though you could probably park on the road, it's going to be noisy, and there's another chance that, you know, police might be driving by and they might just, you know, kind of investigate and say, hey, what's going on here? Because you're not going to really see too many vehicles, like business, commercial vehicles parked on a main road like this. So what I'll do is I'll drive up and I'll look for a side street, preferably something that only has 1 lane in each direction. So here's a good example. As we zoom up and we go in, you can see this Vanderveer Avenue. This is a little bit smaller than this other road we were just looking at. Now there's just one single line down the middle and 1 lane of traffic on each side. So this is already a smaller side street. You can see there's some businesses right up here. Here's a spa, a rental car business. So this already would probably be a fairly decent spot to park if you were in a pinch. And you can see if I zoom in right here, look at that. What's that? That looks like a box truck. You can see the roof is almost like translucent. So there might be a box truck parked on the street right there. But for me, this is still a little more busy than what I like. So look, if we go up just one more street, right, and we go to Sheridan Lane, now we look at this road, and you can see this almost looks like a driveway or something. There's no median, no clear lane markings. So something like this is going to be even quieter. So that's kind of what I'm looking for, is like 1 lane each direction. Here's a good one right here. I like this one, Glacier Avenue. So it's really short. It's in between 2 kind of more main streets, but there's businesses on each side. And if we zoom in, look, what's parked right here? You guys see that? Or no, my head's in the way. Hold on, let me zoom up. There you go. You see that right there? That's an RV. So this RV guy, he already knows the secret. So he's got a nice spot. He's parked on the street. Of course, you always want to look for signs. Look for road signs, no parking signs. Make sure you're not in a place that's obviously going to cause you trouble. But if you don't see any immediate no parking signs, then I feel like a road like this is going to be premium. There's not even a marking in the middle of the road. It's very remotely used, would be my guess. So if I was pulling through, I would absolutely just park right here, maybe opposite side of the street of the motorhome. And you should have no problem staying there all night and getting up at your leisure and then taking off in the morning. So for me, this type of stuff is perfect. That's how I find parking in commercial when I'm visiting a new town. And you can see as we zoom out, there's just a whole sea of commercial. So that's kind of a little tip for you guys. And we'll go ahead and I'll show you now where I was parking at specifically in San Diego. And so what I wanted to do, now again, I was hanging out at Ocean Beach, and the reason that I like Ocean Beach in San Diego, look at this. If you zoom in, look how big the parking lot is. It's a massive parking lot. There's tons of room, and if we zoom in again, you can see right here there's a big RV parked right in the middle. Over here there's like a shuttle bus. And so this place is pretty friendly for oversized vehicles. And what's cool is, so you can see an example right here. Well, that's a pickup, but when I was there just last week, all the van life and RV and bus people, they all back in right on this strip, right along this lawn. So basically, you back in right here. You can hang out in the grass, lay on a blanket, take a nap, walk your dog, play a little hacky sack, kind of do whatever you want to do on the lawn here. And then right across the way over here, you have the beach. So you can walk over to the beach, walk through the sand, and play volleyball. They have a bunch of volleyball nets set up down here. And then right south, right down here, they have bathrooms, pretty clean bathrooms with outdoor showers. And so this is a really nice place to hang out during the day. Now, that being said, this is not a place where you can stay the night. They do have no parking signs, and I've talked to some people that said they have stayed there overnight, but I don't like to push my luck. I'm more than happy to be able to park here all day and not be bothered. I mean, police roll through and they check, for security and make sure there's no crime or anything. So I'm just happy that they let us park there, and I don't want to push it and be staying there overnight because ultimately, if it gets too crazy with van life, they're going to kick you out. So what I wanted to do is find the closest parking lot spot or closest parking spot possible. So I went ahead and zoomed back out, and I was looking for commercial real estate again. Hello, April. Thank you for joining the live stream. We're just talking about finding stealth camping. And so what I did again is I zoomed out and I was looking for commercial, and you can see everything down here by the beach. This is all residential, but as we go east, we start to get into commercial. We get into businesses and companies and stuff like that. And so I found, just by looking at the maps, I found this street here called Hancock Street. And when you zoom in on it, there's a bunch of apartment buildings. But as you wrap around the corner, you can see right here, you can see there's a van life pulling a trailer. Here's a box truck. Here's an RV. Here's another van life. And as we scroll down, there's a semi truck parked right here. And there's a box truck parked right here. So this is a really good, there's a pretty good bet that you could park here and have no issues. And that's exactly what I did. I ended up staying here for about a week straight. And the great thing is, if we zoom out, look how close to the beach this is. The beach is right here. The parking is right here. I put it into my maps, and it was really only about a 3-mile drive from my parking spot to the beach. So I would spend all day at the beach, and then the parking lot was technically open till 10 p.m. So a little bit after it got dark, maybe 8 o'clock at night, I would just pack everything up and drive 3 miles to Hancock Street and park right on the street next to a whole bunch of other vans and RVs. And then in the morning, I would get up and then do the same thing, just drive back to the beach and spend the whole day there. And the cool thing about that is you have a safe parking spot at night. There's van life everywhere. You don't have to worry about, people harassing you or getting broke into. You have community. And then during the day, you have a wonderful spot to hang out. And so for folks that are on a budget, that are really concerned about finances and not being able to spend a lot of money towards moving around and gas and things like that, I think this is a great solution where, you could be living in one of the best zip codes of the country, one of the nicest places, and be camping for free and be 3 miles from the beach. So this is a pretty good spot. I really, really like how that turned out. And so I was going to share with you guys. Let me hop over here, and I'm going to do an iPhone share, and we'll take a look at the sunset one more time out here in Yuma, Arizona. Just see the sun going down, and it's a beautiful day. It was nice in the 70s here. Okay, so let me switch up this iPhone view really quick. Let me see if this works out for me. Desk view. I'm learning all kinds of new tricks with this iPhone. It's pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about it. All right, let's see. Here we go. Okay. Let's see if that works. Come on, baby. Camera view. Let me delete one. I have two of them right now. Let me delete one of them and see if that helps. Give me 1 second, guys. Let me check out the chat. What's going on? RMR Pictures, I'll be out there in August. Are you coming to San Diego? Is that the plan? Is that the plan? Okay, it looks like we got it. Let's see. We got it. All right. Great success. Okay, here we go. So I also figured out how I can make this software show the screen on my iPhone, which I think is pretty cool. So I'm going to share with you guys some stuff from San Diego. Let's see. Oops. Let's go albums. Albums. If you saw that picture of me laying in bed, that's from my video that's coming up Sunday. I did a little more in-depth behind the scenes of my San Diego experience. Okay. I don't know if you guys will hear audio or not, but this is a view of my parking spot at that park in San Diego. So this was looking right out the back of my van, at the grass, in the parking lot. There's van life guys parked up over there, van life on the other side. So it was really a cool spot. The parking lot got pretty crowded like midday. So it's definitely a situation where you want to come early. And so here's another view. This was at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The line of cars are coming in, and there's really no parking spaces left. So that's another good reason why it's nice to be in a van, because you can get there early and get your spot for the day, and then you don't have to really go anywhere. You got all your food, your restroom, your work, whatever you need to do. You have it all with you while you're there. I'm going to switch this phone around into portrait view for you guys. That'll help out a little bit. So that was my view. And then I was going to show you, look at this incredible sunset that I saw. This is no filter. This is literally what it looked like. I couldn't believe it. It was totally incredible. Just hanging out on the beach in San Diego. Super pink, orange sunset. Just absolutely beautiful. Beautiful vibes out there. So it was really cool. Really enjoyed it. And then I wanted to show you, let me hide this really quick. Let's see what we got in the chat. Are those date palms on your street? Life is Bananas is asking about the trees. They might be date palms. There's a lot of palm trees in Yuma, and there's a lot of dates in Yuma. I know there's actually a company that produces dates, like commercially. They package them and sell them. So it definitely could be a date palm. Kia Soul 2023 Travels says, what is your van you use? What year, make, model? Kia Soul, this is a 2007 Ford E450 Econoline. It is a box truck. It is a 12-foot box. It is a retired U-Haul. So it's pretty large inside, has a lot of space to move around and live in. Okay, so I'll show you guys another spot that I hung out at in California. Another cool thing, they have this place called Fiesta Island, and Fiesta Island is a man-made island. It's in a little bay here. It's in Mission Bay, and so you can drive out onto this island, and then you can drive the perimeter of the entire island, and it's all sand, and then you can park up. This back part of the island, Sunset Beach, is a spot where most of the van life folks go and hang out, and you can drive right down on the sand. You can hang out there all day and just relax and just enjoy being right on the water. And so I'll show you guys this video. This is Fiesta Island with some van life friends right after Tiny Fest. We all came down and posted up on the beach and just hung out there all day. So you guys can get kind of an idea of what that looks like. And Fiesta Island is a place that some people actually do stay the night. Again, you're not supposed to, but from what I've heard, the cops don't come down and patrol it all the time. So some people do just stay the night there, and then if the cops come through, then they have to relocate. So that's another cool spot is Fiesta Island. And when I was staying at Fiesta Island during the day, I would just hop across the bridge. You can see if you go across the bridge right here, you just hop on this road and it goes right across the bay, and then you can end up right back in that same Hancock Street. So again, you are only a couple miles away from a good place to spend the night. So I was super happy with that location. And then, okay, so here's a cool thing too. After I was talking to that YouTuber, Dan, Dan the Van Man, the guy that I met at this parking lot, I was just hanging out in this other parking lot here in San Diego. It's called Robb Field, and it's a sport complex, athletic complex right here, Ocean Beach Athletic, Robb Field. So if you take this street right here, it's called Bacon Street. You take this down and it curves around, and all these parking spots right along the water here, you can park in all these spots. You can hang out there all day, obviously, but people have been staying there overnight. And I would never think to stay the night in a park because usually the police patrol that and they kick you out. And so, but the guy I talked to, Dan the Van Man, he said he'd been staying there overnight for like 4 days and hadn't had any issues. And so I said, well, this guy seems cool, and if it's been working for him, then I'll go ahead and give it a try. And so I'll show you guys this video of me coming back through here at night. So here's a shot of just kind of what the parking lot looks like. This was standing on top of my rig. This is what the parking lot looks like, just kind of looking out over it. You can see kind of the view there. There's that's that RV right in the picture. That guy was there for like the whole 3 days I was there. He never even moved. He was staying there the whole time. But this was a day, and then look at night. This is me pulling in at night after I went out to get dinner. Look at all these vehicles. So as I pull in, you can see right away there's like a ProMaster and a Econoline, a couple shuttle buses, and this was pretty much, oops, is that it? Is that all I have? This was pretty much every night. Every night there was all these rigs parked up. I guess that's all I have. I thought I had a longer video of going deeper in. But so anyway, you can see there's a bunch of people hanging out at night. So it was definitely a super spot, safe spot to hang out, and had a good time there and got to meet a couple cool van life people as well. So that kind of concludes what I wanted to share with you guys about city camping and stealth camping. If you have any questions, drop it in the chat. Let me know if you have any particular questions about finding a spot. And otherwise, I'm going to move on to something else. I wanted to talk about another thing people have been asking about is how to find resources like specifically fresh water. And so for me, you know, when I've been staying down here in Yuma, a lot of the cities in Arizona, they have water stations you can go to where it's just like a little independent kiosk. It almost looks like an ATM type building, but they have filtered water machines with hoses on them. So you can, and they're mostly put in place for like RVs and stuff. So you can pull up and just, it costs you money, but it's like 50 cents for 5 gallons. So it's pretty cheap. And so you can pull up, put in 50 cents, you get 5 gallons of fresh filtered water, and you just put it right into your freshwater fill and fill your rig up, your tank up, no problem. So that's what I'd been doing here in Yuma, but now that I'm in California, you know, they don't have those kind of stations. So then the question people have is, how do I find a place to fill my water? So let me move my video over here, and I'll show you guys. If you go to San Diego or Google Maps, wherever you're at, you can type in RV dump station. And so dump stations typically always have freshwater filling stations as well. So if we type that in, you can see here on Google Maps, oops, hold on, go back here. Here we go. You can see on Google Maps right away what pops up is recreational vehicle dump station. And then if I zoom in on it, you can see right here there is a little dump station right here. And so I drove by and checked it out. They have a spot where you can dump your wastewater, and then additionally you can fill up your freshwater tanks. And you can see in the picture there's an RV right here. He's just leaving the dump station. So he pulled through, dumped his water, filled it up, and headed on out. So wherever you're at, you can look for dump stations. And then the other thing, if you're near water, you can look for a like a boat launch. So I went to the place I actually filled my fresh water at was, let's see, South Shores Park. So this park right here, right up over here. And so all you have to do is basically look for a boat launch. You can type boat launch into Google Maps. And then when you pull up the boat launch and then look at it, you'll see they'll have like this little like spot on the side that almost looks like a gas station terminal or something. And this is also a dump and a water fill. So there again, there's an RV in this photo dumping his wastewater and filling his fresh. So that's another tip. If you're near water, near a lake or ocean, you can look for a boat launch, and they'll probably have a water spigot there because they also allow boaters to wash off their boats. Either before they're entering or after they're leaving the water. So boat launches are a good spot to find water fills as well. And they also have a bathroom there, pretty nice clean bathroom. I went and checked it out. So kind of another tip about a spot you guys can go to find water and easily fill your fresh water. And also dump your sewage. If you have a black tank, you could dump it there as well. Let's hop in the chat. Outdoors Dreadhead says we got ice machines like that here. Yep. Yeah, you guys might find ice machines as well. Vending machines where you can go and get full bags of ice just right out of the machine. And then usually if they have an ice machine, they will also have a freshwater machine as well. So you can take advantage of both of those in the same spot. And then something else that I found out that was super cool is if you guys are looking for groceries on a budget, the whole West Coast has a grocery chain called Grocery Outlet. And so I've shopped there in the past. When I was living in Oregon, I used to shop there. They have really good low prices. And what's cool is it's not like weird off-brand goods or like expired food. It's good quality food. It's name brand stuff. What it usually is it's just like if a grocery store ends up ordering like overstock, like they get kind of more groceries than they need or whatever, then they'll end up sending their overstock to these outlet chains, and then the chains will liquidate it. So I found a grocery outlet. I found a grocery outlet right here in San Diego, and the cool thing is it was located smack dab between the beach where I hung out during the day and my stealth camping parking spot over here in the commercial district. So on the way to the beach or on the way home, I would stop off at Grocery Outlet, and I was able to get 10-ounce steaks, premium steaks. This was grass-fed, pasture-raised, 10-ounce cuts for only $5 a piece. They were each like sealed in their individual little vacuum sealed containers. Super delicious. And so I bought like 5 of them. I ate them the whole time I was there. And I actually went on my way back as I was coming to Yuma. I stopped by again and I bought 6 more steaks just because it was such a good price. I couldn't believe it. Those same steaks here in Yuma, would probably cost you like $9 So to get them for $5 a piece, I was super stoked. If you guys are on the West Coast at all, I definitely recommend Grocery Outlet. And you can get all kinds of stuff. I got some toothpaste, Ziploc bags. You can get regular, chips, and they have produce. So all kinds of good stuff. But Grocery Outlets is kind of a good spot to get some deals. Yeah, King knows. King follows me on Instagram. He saw some of the deals I got there. I got some nice chocolate bars. They had some like organic. The brand is called Human. I've seen them before at Whole Foods. They're like $5 a piece, and I got them for $1.99 at Grocery Outlet, which was like a pretty crazy deal. And so getting stuff like that in discount, it's just like it's always a good feeling, and then you can just kind of eat a little bit more. Diana Saylor has a question. She says, when you first built your box truck with everything included, including water, do you have to stay within your weight limit by getting weighed? That is a very good question, Diana. Your vehicle does have a rated weight limit. The box truck that I'm in, the weight limit is 14,000 pounds. And so I didn't actually weigh myself because I just knew that I wasn't going to be able, I knew I wouldn't be putting enough stuff in it to reach that 14,000 pounds. I had no idea how much I was adding, but I just knew just from experience it wouldn't be that much. But I would say, if you're getting started, it might be a good idea to go ahead and check on that, especially if you're in a smaller vehicle like a cargo van or a ProMaster or something smaller, but you're going to add a lot of weight to it, then you definitely would want to get it weighed just to make sure you're not over limit. And over limit isn't necessarily just a legal thing, it's also a safety issue. Um, your axles, your brakes, your tires, everything's weighted and engineered to kind of that maximum capacity. And so if you exceed that, you can cause damage and potentially some, pretty serious, part failures if you exceed your weight limit. Now, as I mentioned, my van maximum weight limit was 14,000 pounds. I did weigh it in Texas before I came to Yuma after the build was like 90% complete. And it weighed like 12, just about 12,000 pounds. So even with everything in this van, a full water tank, a roof full of solar panels, and that was with all my stuff inside. Like when I had all my extra tools and parts loaded up in back, it was packed out, and it only weighed 12,000 pounds. So in theory, I could add an extra 2,000 pounds of weight to this vehicle and still be within my load limits. And so that's what kind of led me down the path of thinking that I might add some storage boxes, maybe either some rear bumper storage or some under cargo storage on the side to kind of get some of my tools and supplies out of the living space and underneath the outside of the vehicle. So it's definitely a good idea to just keep in mind the max weight capacity and then try to stay inside that. Jay says, yep, I buy those steaks every week. Love to hear it, Jay. I love those steaks. I'm sad I had to leave California, but when I head back over, I'll be filling my fridge and freezer with those delicious steaks. If you guys have any other van life related questions, nomad questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat. I'm kind of getting to the end of the content I had planned for tonight, but I'm happy to answer just any questions you guys may have. I see Andre's here tonight. What's up, Andre? Happy to have you on the live stream. He's asking, what's the best trailer? And let's see, I can't quite read all this. What's the best trailer and blank to live in? I assume maybe you mean trailer and vehicle, trailer and van or something. So that's all going to be up to you. That's just going to depend on what your personal preference is. For me personally, I like having just a single vehicle. That's why I chose the box truck. I don't want to have to pull a trailer around. And the main reason I chose this size box truck is because it fits in a regular parking space. So I have a couple of friends that I was hanging out with down there in San Diego, and they have the shuttle bus that's just a little bit bigger than mine. Mine is 21 feet bumper to bumper, but the next size up, like this size shuttle bus, these are about 20. Let me see if I can get a full shot of it. These are about 25 feet bumper to bumper. So they're about 4 feet longer, but the difference is you cannot fit one of these into a regular parking space. So you either have to find like a double parking spot or oversized parking, so it can get a little bit tricky. And I was able to park in a few spots there in San Diego that my other friends couldn't fit into because of that same reason. So Andre, you have to ask yourself what you're planning to do with your van life journey. I'm just kind of looking outside at the sunset. It's really pretty. Depending on what you're going to do with your journey, if you're comfortable pulling a trailer, then get whatever size vehicle you're comfortable driving, because why not have the most space possible? And if you're going to be pulling a trailer, you're probably not going to be driving every day. So you're probably going to be either at campgrounds or RV parks or out in public land where you'll be staying somewhere for multiple weeks at a time. And if that's the case, if you're going to be staying somewhere for 2 weeks at a time, then definitely get a bigger rig so you have more space for storage and toys and parts and food and all that kind of jazz. Marview says, I know you mentioned it. What company do you use for internet? I use Nomad Internet. It's $100 a month, but you get unlimited high-speed internet, which is what's nice. Before that, I was using just an AT&T hotspot, and I was paying $40 a month for my hotspot, but I only got 30 gigabytes of data. And so if you're someone that watches a lot of content, like you stream movies, or if you're going to have to do remote work like Zoom meetings or upload files and videos, then 30 gigs of data actually goes by pretty fast. And so for me, it wasn't enough to do all the video work that I do over the internet. So that's why I went with Nomad. And $100, it ain't free. It's a it's a little investment, but if you really need internet, I'd recommend it. The biggest benefit is they don't throttle you. So that $100 a month, that's basically high-speed internet, and then however much of it you need, which is what's nice because most data plans, even if you get like a dedicated hotspot, like the standalone little device from AT&T, they'll still throttle you when you go over, I think like 50 gigabytes is the cap. Once you go over 50 gigs, then they restrict your speed. So it really is nice to have a carrier that doesn't throttle you. Marview said stock trading. There you go, man. Are you currently doing trading? That's cool. I haven't met anybody on the road that makes money doing stock trading, but if you can make that happen and get a profit off of it, good for you, buddy. Joe just tuned in. Hey, Joe, thanks for joining. Joe's asking, what part of the country are you in? I went back to Yuma, Joe. I was in San Diego for about 2 weeks and absolutely loved it. I came back to Yuma. I have a little bit of business to wrap up here, and I had my aunt and my cousin visiting my dad's house, so I came back to see them and just do a little work here. So I'm in Yuma, but I'm only going to be here for a week, and then I'm going to Texas. I'm going to fly to Texas. I have to help my mom move. She's actually moving back to Arizona, so I got to fly out to Texas, help her drive back to Arizona, and then once I get her moved in, then I will be heading back west to California, and then if everything goes well with the van, I will be heading up the coast to Oregon. John C. says, I worked for a wireless company, left 2 years ago, still on the employee plan. Yeah, buddy. John C. with the employee discount. Good for you, man. Happy to hear it. I had a friend that worked for AT&T back in the day, and so she had me on the employee plan, and I think I saved a pretty good amount. Like my phone bill at the time was only like 70 or 80 bucks a month for everything. And then I think I saved like $30 off because I was on her employee plan. So yeah, those employee plans are pretty sweet. Hey, Donald, thanks for coming and joining. Good to see you here. We're just chilling, answering some questions. Robert in the chat says, some van lady I watched last night loved the T-Mobile internet for 50 unlimited and very fast. She swears by it. Nice. Yeah. I mean, I've only tried Nomad and AT&T. But yeah, I mean, give T-Mobile a try. Definitely. I guess it just depends on usage. I don't know how much she was using it, but yeah, try it out. Why not? $50 a month. I think Starlink is not really a good choice. I know a lot of people, it's really popular right now. Starlink is really popular because, well, it's fancy and it's Tesla and it's coming from satellites and it's all futuristic. And I get it. I understand the hype and it is very, very fast. But here's the downside that people don't realize with Starlink. Anytime you want to use it, you have to set up a satellite dish. And the satellite dish is it's like this long and then it's like this wide. So it's pretty big. It's larger than it's like 2 notebooks put together, 2 full-size notebooks side by side. You have to set up the Starlink outside of your vehicle and then run the cable inside to your router. So the problem is with that if you're like wanting to use your internet in the evening, you have this, $300 Starlink satellite dish sitting outside your van, and then you just have to leave it up to, I hope it all works out and nobody messes with it, and nobody knocks it over or runs into it or steals it or anything. And then also it's just the hassle of having to set it up, versus my Nomad. It's just a hotspot, so if I want to use it, I can leave everything inside the van. I just power it on and instantly I'm using internet. So it's pretty nice. I think that feature is kind of overlooked with people, the fact you have to set up the satellite dish. And I know a lot of Nomads set up their Starlink on the roof. And I have a couple Nomad friends that do that. They put Starlink on the roof. But you still have to go up there, set it up, climb up on the van, set it up. And then when you want to drive off, you have to take it down and pack it away. And then you have to store it. It's a pretty big device. You have to store it inside your van. So, it's a cool item, but I don't think it's really the best option for van dwellers. Robert says T-Mobile's unlimited. Yeah, I would just tell anybody, even if it's unlimited, just check the fine print, because unlimited and unthrottled is two different things. So you can have internet that's unlimited, but most of those hotspots, once you've consumed a certain amount of data, they throttle you down. So they take your speed from whatever it normally is, the fast speed, and they slow it down to a lower speed, and they give priority to other users that aren't using as much data. And I think most of the companies do that. And I think it might even be like an FCC regulation, because I think the problem is wireless internet is limited in the capacity versus like the wired internet. So they want as many people as possible to remain on a wired landline connection, because it's just easier for the infrastructure. And so if they made it too affordable and easy for everybody to go wireless, then everyone would just have wireless hotspots in their house. They wouldn't have the hardwired internet, and then all the wireless internet networks would get congested and jammed up. So I think that's the reason why a lot of these companies do throttle you, is just due to the fact that they can't have everybody using it all at the same time. So it might be unlimited, but I would bet it might still get throttled. Oh, Marview said it's over $200 a month. So I know Starlink used to be 150 back when I was looking at it. So if they bumped it up to 200, then being able to get the Nomad unlimited for $100 a month is even a better deal. And just full disclaimer, Nomad doesn't pay me. They just gave me a unit to test out, but they don't pay me. I don't have any referral codes. I don't get any money if you guys sign up. So I don't really care if you sign up or not. I just always want to provide the honest information and let you guys know what to look out for. Let's go, Brandon. That's right, Robert. Let's go, Brandon. Everything's raising. All the prices be going up. Do you have issues with no service areas? No, I have not had issues with no service. Yeah, it was a little bit slower when I was out at Schoolypalooza, and the problem with that is that at Schoolypalooza, you're out in the desert. There's very few cell towers, and there's hundreds of people all on their devices. So everybody's cell phone and hotspot are all using the same cell towers. So no matter what provider you have, when you're out in that type of a situation where there's hundreds of people, relying on the same cell tower, it's going to slow your speeds down. Nomad King's off to grab some food. Have a good dinner, buddy. Good to see you. And I'll catch you next time, brother. Safe travels. Joe says, have a safe flight. Don't sit by the door. Oh, my goodness. I know. When I get on the plane, fingers crossed, it's an Airbus or a McDonnell Douglas. I hope I'm not on a Boeing. And if I am in a Boeing, I'll have to cross my fingers and my toes because, Boeing's been having a lot of trouble with their quality control. S. Jackson says, my Starlink is flat mounted. I set it up once. Oh, nice. S. Jackson, good for you. He's got the permanent roof mount. Happy to hear that, buddy. Happy that's working out for you. What else we got? Jackson says it's not 200, it's 150 unless you want priority. King Gamer's out of here. Adventures with Super Dave asks, what's up with the Van Life RX website? I did a website called Van Life RX a couple years ago. RX was like a prescription. I was calling it your prescription for van life. And so I had a vision and I ended up not following through with that vision. But I have a new website design coming soon and I'm going to launch it probably in the next month. And that's going to be a website for folks to go to get all kinds of information like this. And I'm going to be posting on that website a bunch of tips and tricks about stealth camping. And also I'm going to make a list of all the Nomad events happening throughout the country. I know a few people have been asking about a list, like a database of all the different events. So I'll be compiling that list on my website and some other useful resources. So that website will be coming in the next month or so, and you guys will be able to go there and get all kinds of van life and nomad related information. And with that, folks, it is 7:02 p.m. It has been 1 hour of a live stream. I appreciate everybody joining and being active in the chat and asking questions. I'm going to go ahead and call it an evening. Nomad Brad is hungry. It's time to go cook up one of those grocery outlet 10-ounce grass-fed steaks that I scored for $5. So I'm going to go ahead and take off, and I appreciate you guys for joining me. The new video is going out Sunday. I will probably upload it Saturday for folks that are channel members. So if you're a member, you'll get early access to watch my video. I think it's a pretty good one. It's another stealth camping video. So I will see you guys next time. Thank you for joining me. Nomad Brad, signing out.